Yes. Okay, then that hit that. What do we got? Anything? Here we go. Yes. I see that I had to hit there, Rhonda. This is exciting. This is like real life show business.
First time.
Showbiz. You know, for you to make that joke, I have to say Brad Garrett watches almost every time I go live because I'm always, you see how many
Brad.
things are going on, right?
Yeah.
Don't be nice to Brad. You see all the things that are going on, right? There's a lot going on. So it looks like we're just sitting here. All right, Tom Caldabiano here. Let's get our mics right. Tom Caldabiano here, sitting with Rhonda Robinson, who's going to answer so many questions. Rhonda,
I'm going to try.
you're going to know. I've been doing a live about Ed Rose Raymond. For those of you that don't know, I'm Tom Caldabiano. I was a writer on Ed Rose Raymond, and I took 30,000 behind-the-scenes photos. So I documented a lot of things. And since I started, a lot of people have a ton of questions that I can't answer, and so most people. On any production or anything, let's say you're a soldier in World War II, you know what happened in your place. On Ed Rose Raymond, there were 130 people. So Phil Rosenthal, who's the head of the show, is very ignorant about a lot of places. He was very knowledgeable about the important places that he needed to know.
Right.
So you are going to be getting me off the hook of all the things that I have said. I have no clue. I don't know. I'll talk to Rhonda about it.
We'll see if I remember.
Yes. So you'll remember a lot. You know, I've said to Raymond, I've said to Phil, I go, Phil, don't try and out-remember the audience that has watched the show 1,000 times. Because don't try and say, I don't think that aired. You will get bombarded with, oh, yes, it did. Episode 6 in season 2. All right, so let's just establish. Let me just do this, Rhonda, so you can see what's going on. There, I can see everybody's questions. First of all, how is my volume, everybody? Let's look up here. Let me look on this. Okay, this. Get milk. Okay, I got that. On the side here, we're looking at the feed from Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, let's just, I can do this. I can bring up a couple of things. Mona says hi. Mona's in Montreal.
Hi, Mona.
Okay. Michael says hello all. Okay. Karen Edwards. Karen, are we on Facebook too? Yes, Karen, it should be on Facebook. I think that's what I'm reading you from which I'm reading. So Karen is in Plymouth, England. Have you been to England ever, Rhonda?
Never.
Okay.
But it's high on my list.
Okay.
I just came back from Paris. I was almost there.
Paris. This close.
So
you were
close,
this close,
so
but you
close.
chose not to go to London. Well,
But I will next time.
Yeah. That gives. Don't worry about hurting their feelings, because I would like to visit. London would be great. Phil is going to be there at something called the Palladium, which is fancy schmancy place. Okay.
Have you been to London?
Yes, many times, and I did a TV show pilot with Phil in London for 12 days.
Oh wow.
A lot of food. Okay. By the way, do you recognize this name? And you don't have to. Susan Woods Stompanato. Do you recognize the name Stompanato? You don't have to.
No.
Okay.
It's a little familiar, but no.
Okay. We're just going to move on from that. Okay. I'm looking mostly at my... Hi, Donnell. Rhonda and everyone looking forward to the show. Yes, we're going to really get into the nitty-gritty. Hi, Paula. Donnell, who knows everything, is in Austin, Texas. Paula, who's in Canada, they call it. These are some of our best fans. Now, Gil is in England.
Okay.
Gil visited, and I met up with him, and he held the canister. He's the only fan outside of the show ending, because I don't know if you remember, but some people who visited the set held the canister. There's a super fan, Annabelle. She held the canister. But for the most part, Gil might be the only fan on here who has ever held the canister, thanks to you. Okay.
Was that during while we were shooting?
It was 6 months ago.
Oh, there was a picture of that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's a fan.
Okay.
From 6 months ago. Okay. Hi, Karen. So Karen is, I'm giving you the biography of people that watch. Karen,
Good.
Phil Rosenthal, you've met Phil Rosenthal, and I were in Texas about 8 months ago, a year ago, who knows. And all of a sudden a woman came running up to Phil, or walked up to Phil, and said, Phil, and then Tom. And so then Phil gets recognized. I wouldn't necessarily get recognized, but it was Karen here who accosted me and Phil and took pictures, etc.
Nice.
All right. Rhonda, you haven't changed a bit. Welcome to ELR 360 Live. That is very nice. And
Thank you, Karen.
Yes, Karen is blonde as well. And let me see. Let's see. So now I'm just trying to catch up before we really get into it. Thank you, Donnell. Facebook good on volume. Awesome. Okay. Let me see this. Canada, they call it. Yes. Canada. Hi, Tom Arana. Okay. These are all our greetings have gotten out of the way from around the world.
They're from all over.
It's late at night in England. It's very early you're drinking from your AIS mug. I will.
S&C.
Okay. Rhonda, what does the property master do? And even though you're tempted to look at me, right? You have to cheat to camera.
Okay.
You got to cheat to camera. I had to tell Patty Heaton that. I mean, come on. And then if Brad is still watching, Brad, you're welcome on the show anytime. Your criticism is not welcome here. Okay. So, Rhonda, what does a property master do?
We read the script, and then I go through and look for anything that the actors touch or anything that the script talks about. If they're having dinner or they're going on a trip. So if their actors are going on a trip in the show, what they might need for it, suitcases, luggage.
And when you say you read the script, you get the script a week before, a day before?
Both. Sometimes it's a week before, sometimes it's the day before, sometimes I get it that morning, depending on the show. And I start just, for myself, what I do is I go through and start circling everything that it looks like something that I'm going to have to either purchase or make or rent. And I'm prepared, and I have a whole list of, if it says dinner, like everything that goes with that dinner. The food, the dishes, the placemats, everything, flowers for the table, or they're going out to eat. It's all the food for all the people, all the background, and just making a list.
I'm exhausted already thinking. So you're basically catering. You're catering a dinner party that happens to be the Barone's house every time they're there, and in a restaurant when they're going outside. Now, okay, because by the way, George White was here 3 times. Okay, and George. Initially it's like, well, do they really care? Oh, they care.
They care.
Yes. So when you're going past don't worry about going too slow on the details. So now, just the Barone, Marie's kitchen. She's making Thanksgiving dinner. So you independently go, okay, I'm going to make these decisions. These plates, this. Are the plates the standard plates they've had for the entire time, or not really? And then are you like, do you have to ever go to Phil? Hey, Phil, I'm thinking about this for the table.
Yeah, there's a little bit of all of that. On, say for Marie, if we already have dishes, then I use those dishes. Sometimes they weren't enough dishes because maybe we had to serve. Every time that you serve, if Marie is serving something on the plate, we needed a clean plate. So instead of just needing, say, 6 plates for 6 people, you might need 12 or 24 plates because clean plates every time we redo the scene. They may stop right in the middle of the scene, and so we have to clean everything up, but it's easier to just put down a fresh plate than clean it up behind the scene. But it's kind of a joint effort. Maybe in the script, Phil, maybe he wrote they're having turkey and stuffing, maybe it says, and if it doesn't say, then I might in the meeting say, this is what I'm thinking of serving, what do you think of that? Or maybe the actors have special things that they like to eat, and doing the show for so long, I started learning what they like to eat.
So now that brings up a subject. I don't want to get there too quickly.
Okay.
Because these people, they deserve to wait, okay? So now, for those of you that are just joining, this is Tom Cultivano, who's a writer on Rhonda Robinson, and we're talking to Rhonda Robinson, who was the property master, which is, so for everybody I say head of props, which is accurate also, it's just not an official thing, right? Property master is the official title.
property master, prop master. Some people say head props, but prop
Okay.
master, property
Okay.
master.
So the line, you race past it appropriately so. Anything that an actor touches is a prop.
Correct.
And I'm going to delineate one specific thing that happened in our show for, I can't tell you how many years, but let's say 6 years. These people will know. What year was Baggage? 7? 8 or 9? Somewhere in there. 7, 8, or 9. I think Tucker won, so it might have been 8, 7. Doesn't matter. For all those seasons before, okay, Rhonda's getting over something called traveling to Paris, I think, called the Parisian life, the
Yes.
nightlife. For all those years before, the Big Fork and Spoon were set dressing.
Yes.
Okay, set dressing is what's on the wall, what's on the set that the actors don't touch. So
Unless it's specified in the script.
to touch it.
Even if they don't touch it, if they say, look at that poster on the wall, if we don't have that poster there previously, then that poster
Becomes
a
props?
prop.
Oh, so many valuable tidbits here. Okay, so the fork and spoon, I bring that up because the fork and spoon was on Frank and Marie's wall in the kitchen. And forever, Rhonda's like, oh, look at that fork and spoon. That's not part of my responsibility, so I don't care what happens there. And then all of a sudden, she reads the Baggage episode and she goes, uh-oh, I now have to what? It's the same fork and spoon, and Marie picks it up and takes it down. So do you even have to do anything at that point? Or you're just like, it's there, but you have to make sure that it can be taken off and there's a grease outline around it. So did you have to do anything different when that episode came around?
I think the only thing that we, if I remember correctly, that we did was make sure that when the fork and spoon were taken down, we had the art, one of the artists come in, not set dressing, painters come in and make sure that there was an outline there, because that outline wasn't really there before they were taken down. So we wanted to show that that fork and spoon had been there for such a long time that when they were taken down, there was an outline.
Right. To service, and for everybody, everything is to service the story, so that takes precedent over everything. So if Rhonda is like, I really like these, make something up to be on the table, if it gets in the way of the story or something, or feels like, why do we have giant giraffe salt shakers on the thing? Can you not have those? So it's like you have to make it awesome and not overstep on your creative decisions, and also not undersell. And that's, I tell a lot of people, when you see a student film versus a professional, it feels empty versus and I'm sure there's some student films, so no offense to all student film people out there, but that's when you notice the attention to detail. And on Everose Raymond, just in wardrobe itself, you're like, oh, they're all like, you would this works, right? And you would never have a big scene with Marie and Deborah and they're both wearing blue. You know, it just doesn't have, and there's so many different things. Even if Patty's like, I look really good in red, it's like, oh well, because Doris has to be in red, so we have to make this work. So now going back, because I want to go back before we get into the food, etc. Let's just go back to before Everose Raymond. You had been on a few other big shows.
Yes.
Go ahead and reel those off. Don't be shy, Rhonda.
Okay. General Hospital.
General Hospital. Never heard of it. No, I'm kidding. Gigantic. For those of you in Croatia, it's a giant show. General Hospital is big.
Oh, it was huge. And at that time, it was huge. They were doing college courses on General Hospital. So it was huge at the time. And then Soap, way back.
Soap.
Who's the Boss?
Who's the Boss? Were you there for most of the time? Or
6 years. I was the prop master.
Okay. That was, for those of you that don't know, Who's the Boss? Tony Danza.
Tony Danza.
Okay. And who was the woman? That's
Catherine Hellman, Judith Light,
Okay, so Catherine you saw again then.
Alyssa. Yes, I worked with her on quite a few different shows.
Okay,
Yeah, Alyssa Milano,
okay.
Silver Spoons,
Silver Spoons.
Ricky Schroeder,
Yes,
Alfonso Ribeiro.
yes. Wow.
Yeah.
This is quite the list. So then, let's go back. The way it works is you're offered pilots. Rose Raymond gives a pilot, and somebody who calls you to say, hey, do you want to work on this pilot with an unknown comedian?
I actually didn't do the pilots. The only
Okay.
show I didn't do was the pilot. I was doing something else at the time. I don't remember. And so they called me after.
let me explain to people. That means nothing as far as if you didn't do the pilot. I also was not the pilot. But the way it works in Hollywood is they shoot like, I don't know what the number is now, but let's just say 70 pilots within 2 months. So Rhonda, who has history and a good reputation, there are going to be a lot of things are going to come across her desk. And a lot of times, because my agent said, I talked one of my directors out of directing the pilot for Rose Raymond because I thought it was going to be a not very good show. So let's avoid, since you have a good reputation, let's avoid this stinky show at Rose Raymond, and you'll do this other pilot that went nowhere.
Happens a lot.
Yes. So now the show gets shot. You
Yes.
did another pilot.
Yes.
And then who gives you the call?
I honestly don't remember who called me. It might have been, was Ken there at the time?
Yes.
Or was that before Ken?
No, Ken Ornstein was there from the beginning, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but I'm 99% sure.
Who was before him?
Stuart Lyons.
Stuart. Maybe it was Stuart Lyons. I can't remember.
So then they send you the video of the
They
pilot,
sent me the video of the pilot.
and you watch it and go,
There's a lot of crying kids.
so you're not taken by Doris Roberts and Peter Boyle and stuff, are you? Because as a prop master, you're not looking at, maybe you are, but you have to look at how hard is my job going to be?
Yeah, I watched the pilot. I went in for the interview and watched the pilot, and I actually thought it was a lot of fun, and it looked like it would be a lot of fun to do. So I signed on.
Yeah.
And it was fun. It was right up my alley as far as the kind of shows I like to do. And I thought, and everybody was so nice, which I couldn't have known going in, but you just had that feeling even watching the pilot, how nice everybody was.
Yeah. Well, now let's go, because then we're going to get into the nitty gritty. But I've said that ad nauseum. Everybody who comes on here is like, everybody was so nice on Rose Raymond. And you try, and it wasn't like I went in the shows, because Rose Raymond was my first series. And then the next series I worked on, it was a train wreck. See, I get emotional even talking about it. It was a train wreck in many, many ways. And it's not that people were mean, per se, but it was just because of Phil Rosenthal and Ray having really, I mean, I say that, of course they have egos, but but being so wanting a good show, period. And yes, I know there were frustrations where, and I say this, this is how when you're filming a show, for Phil, I'm getting into Phil's shoes now, you come up with an idea, then you work for like 4 months breaking the idea, let's say, then you write the script, then you work for the entire week on that script, and then you only have one chance for the audience to see it live and get that original laugh. So the only frustrating moments I saw with Phil was when something happened with the switcher, something happened with the camera angle, with the shaky camera, something happened with the props, where it's, whatever happened, where Phil's like, okay, it's my little wooden show. And so that comes from not being, that frustration that we all felt just those rare times in the moment. And that, when I saw other shows, I thought, oh my gosh, our show is it's run so well.
Yes.
It's so smooth.
Yes.
There's no screaming and yelling and all of that stuff. And so obviously you're reiterating it, and we're sitting here. We could be arch enemies because you hated seeing writers because they were so mean or
Loved
something.
all of you.
Yeah. So, okay. So now you take the show. It's such a great environment. And do you remember the first time you met Doris or Peter, and I have to say, we're talking our audience, which we love. Most people don't meet celebrities ever. Like I didn't meet before. I wasn't like, oh, there's this. You have met giant celebrities already by the time Raymond started. You know what I mean? So it's not like you're sorry. I will let you talk, I promise. But I'm just trying to frame it for people, because from the outside, the thought is, what would it be like to be in the room with Peter Boyle? And the first time you meet Peter Boyle, you're like, oh my goodness. And then it becomes a 9-to-5 job. Not to take away the magic of it, but it's like, Rhonda, we need these props by Wednesday. Like you have to source a giant vagina, by Wednesday. And it's like, it's not like I'm in show business. It's like, okay, let me get to work. So then, but the first time you saw Peter or Doris or on the set, do you remember any specific? I
honestly don't remember the first time I met them, but I do remember in the very beginning just thinking, wow, this is going to be one of those shows that's a joy to work on, because Peter Boyle, it's Peter Boyle, it's Doris Roberts, and they were so kind, and Doris she's funny. She was just, funny
as a person. Yes.
And she, like, I just remember you would walk by me sometimes and go, "Oh, honey, I had the best time last night." And so she was, this funny. They were just nice and kind, and that's huge.
Yeah.
When you work with people who are nice and kind, and it is not always like that in show business and in shows, and not everybody is so nice behind the scenes.
So have you don't have to name a name of a show, but have you been on a show that was I'm not looking forward to.
Let me just say one show I did that I didn't say.
Yes, that you don't want to say the name of.
I'll say the name, but I want.
Oh, you don't want to say the name?
No, I'll say the name of the show. Roseanne.
Oh, you were on Roseanne.
Yeah, for 2 years. Now,
I've never heard anything about Roseanne being in any way controversial. So So there's, by the way, for those of you watching, so Roseanne, who had a reputation, here, I will tell you this. As a writer on Roseanne, I was not a writer on Roseanne, but I was told that Roseanne would have 13 writers, and she would hate a script. So she would say, "You're all fired." And then all new writers would come in, like they had no continuity, no sense of security. And so it's this mercurial personality that exists. And so that is something that we were not aware of on Raymond, unless you had a lot of experiences. So Phil Rosenthal had a lot of experience. We never, Ray and I were coming from like, okay, this is how a show works. Until you go work on another show and you go, oh, this isn't how it works.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, Roseanne, 2 years on Roseanne. Okay. We'll you know what? You'll have to come back again and we'll go more into Roseanne. All right. Now, we're on Rose Raymond. And now let's get to let me get to some specific questions, because we had so many. Let me see. Sorry, let me go back. And let me see. Let's see these. Aloha. Oh, I'm going to say that. That's Bob Silva in Hawaii. We don't feel sorry for him because he's in Hawaii. Yes.
I'm jealous.
Yes, jealous. Okay, these are okay. Let me catch up. I am way behind. This is my friend. Let me see this. Hi, I'm in New Jersey too. Who's saying they're in New Jersey? Hello from Scotland. Hello from Wisconsin. Hello from San Diego. Okay, let me scroll down to
these places I want to go.
Yes, you're all invited. We'll have a lovely show. So you don't know what kind of props you need you need until you get the script. That is correct. That is correct. You, Rhonda has, for the most part, 4 days to get everything. 5 days, 6 days. Let's say. Sometimes.
I tried as much as I could to have things there for rehearsal.
Right.
And if not the exact prop, but something that was very similar to it, like a stand-in prop, so that the actors could get used to it and the writers could write to the prop.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, hold on. I'm going to go away from our camera and let's see. Now I'm on. Can you still see us on camera? I hope so, everybody. I'm going through the comments on Instagram. So this is on Instagram. It's very delayed. I was so surprised the Stipes had a big fork and spoon also. Robert Moves Out episode, just noticed this past week. Yes, a little detail. Now, that would be more the writers. I'm not taking away credit from Rhonda. You must have been quite young when you did all these old...
Very.
Yes, Rhonda just hit 37.
Extremely young.
Yes, painfully young,
I
illegally
actually
young.
started doing it very, very young.
Yes.
As a teenager.
Nice. How did you get the beach chair to fall apart on cue? Do you remember that?
I don't remember how. I don't remember.
My guess
A
is
beach chair fell apart?
my Cookies episode. My guess is that Raymond physically kicked back and they rigged it to break. You know what I mean? So and Raymond gave it that little bit of an assist.
We had special effects. There's a special effects department, and
Right.
they would, if it was something like that, I would supply the chair and whatever was needed and then give it to special effects, and they would rig it and be there and pull. There may have been I don't know, but there may have been a pin that was connected that they pulled. I don't remember how we did it.
And they would, so that just like setting the house on fire, that's a special effects person comes in with a special thing. All right, let me check my text for questions here. Let me see. Yes. Oh, okay. Yes, these are all good questions. I see 3 questions here. Oh yes, that question keeps coming up. Okay. So now we're looking at Instagram. Let me go back. I hope we didn't lose the camera. I doubt we did. Let's go back here. Let me hide this and then this. Yes, running a lot of stuff. The frogs in She's the One. Are you the one that has to at least call the frog person? Okay. So now you look through your Rolodex.
My Rolodex.
Oh, this is wow. Okay. This is from. This goes back to when?
This goes back to who's the boss? Anyway, at least.
All right, because for the people under 50, let me explain this to them. Okay, this is called a Rolodex. Okay,
Yes.
this is your rolling desk. This has all kinds of numbers. I see my name in here with an X over it. Interesting.
Ginger ale.
Interesting. Ginger ale. Oh boy, go back to ginger ale. So for those of you that this is pre-iPhone, pre-everything. Let's call it prehistoric. Okay, so this would be
old.
So if you watch an old movies, you'll see. Why don't you just take a look at your Rolodex and help me out and give me some numbers? You know,
Yeah.
This is the Rolodex, and is it even called a Rolodex? Yeah,
It is.
It really is. Okay, so what Rhonda pointed to. Let me see if I can do it without doing it here, without losing it. Okay, let me get my fingers out of the way. That says ginger ale. And is there a phone number?
That's a phone number.
Okay. Hopefully people don't copy it and start calling it. Okay, the phone number, 2 phone numbers. Oh, a fax number.
Oh, I
No?
think it was just a phone number. The local, and then wherever
The national
that was.
the ginger ale hotline. Okay, so here's the question. By the way, Rhonda, if you need to drink more from the AIS mug,
I do.
Anything that advertises our mug, which is available for purchase right now on ELR. Here, cheers, Rhonda.
Cheers.
I'm glad you finally made it. Because I know.
Me too.
By the way, I'm going to say this to people. When there's 130 people that work on the show, I want people to come on to tell their story. I started by saying, hey, I read the I Love Lucy story, and it was none of the people behind the scenes, because I don't know that back then there was such an interest in the craft. So there was
Right.
Desi's story, the showrunner story, and Lucy's story. That's all you could hear. You couldn't hear. I would love to have heard the wardrobe person or the props person who had to do the giant cake, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me talk to everybody that worked on the show, no matter how much they think they were part of the show. Because as we've learned by watching, when someone drops the ball, you notice on the show. Not to be critical, but we, the writers, dropped the ball a couple times where we're like, okay.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens, but the better you are, and I don't remember the props department ever having a problem.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Somewhere. Maybe we
I'm
can
sure,
find it.
yeah.
Well, Phil might have a different opinion.
I know of one, but I'm not telling.
Okay, we'll tickle it out of you later. Okay, so the reason I know it's problematic is some people don't like to be on camera. Some people are shy. Yeah, you hate being on camera, and I knew that. I'm like, Rhonda, come on. And so most people from the outside are like, of course this person wants to be a star and talk about how they sourced frogs. But Rhonda is reluctantly here, not against her will, but not, Okay, so the frogs. Oh, sorry. Let's go back to the ginger ale. Who is on the other end of that line?
This would have been the person who is probably in charge of ginger ale and marketing. So
at
ginger ale. So
right at Seagram's Canada Dry.
Well, I think that came right around that time that Seagram's took over. I think they bought Canada Dry, but I think when the show first started, I don't know that had happened yet.
Okay, so it was Canada Dry though, and
yes.
Let's clear this up since I have known Ray longer than you have known Ray. I'm not saying in a bragging way. Ray doesn't drink coffee. Ray doesn't drink tea. Ray doesn't drink alcohol. Ray drinks ginger ale.
So I made up for it.
Yes.
I drank it for him.
You drank the alcohol that he did not consume.
Right.
So Ray Romano in real life, so now the prop person, who happens to be Rhonda, is like, okay, we need stuff to drink on stage for the actor. What does Ray like to drink? How about I give him X, Y, and Z? And then it came back, what about ginger ale?
Yes.
So then you ultimately, and there's a lot of product placement in the past and present where they go, hey, Rhonda, this is Canada Dry ginger ale. How would you like a new Porsche and a new house? If you're ginger ale, yes.
I wish.
I'm making up that scenario, but there are times when they go, look, if you want 100%, you want your product on our show, you pay for the product placement. That was not the case on our show.
No.
So you did get free ginger ale. This is not investigation.
I did sometimes get free ginger ale, but they would send it to us, and then I believe ginger ale had a product placement company in LA, so that would have been this 818 number. But originally, I started with contacting ginger ale and making sure that they were okay with having it on the show, because maybe they don't want to be on our show, maybe they don't like the characters.
Yeah.
Sometimes that happens, but everybody loves Raymond, so they did want to be on the show. They would supply it to us, but sometimes I'd have to go buy it too.
Yeah. So, and I think it's a funny thing. You now look at Everose Raymond as this timeless giant hit, but at the time we were very low in the ratings. No one had heard of Ray Romano. Yes, Doris Roberts, Peter Boyle, Patty, not really known. So it's not like you're in season 7 and you go, hey, this is Rhonda from Everybody Loves Raymond. That's right, that Everose Raymond, send me anything I want, right? So it doesn't, and also there was a question about Flutie Flakes being on top of the refrigerator, okay? And I don't know who, I think Phil, somebody reached out to Phil or something. I don't know the exact story.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it was for a good cause and it went up there.
Yes.
On the refrigerator.
Yes.
And then eventually was taken down. And somebody, and by the way, some people are like, I noticed in season 2 there was something different than season 5. It's like, go back into your house in 1996 and then take a picture in 2005 of your kitchen and see if anything has changed. Because
hopefully it has.
Yes, it's a living house. So that's a big difference than, hey, the coffee mug was here and then in the next moment it was here. That's the continuity error.
That sometimes you can't help because of editing.
Yes.
And if actors move it on camera.
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, you could go in and go, Patty, stop moving that thing, and then Phil would go, why is Rhonda? Does anyone know why Rhonda's ruining this scene? And we go, it won't happen again.
She thinks she's supposed to be in there.
All right, so that I hope that clears up any ginger. Let me see. Let me catch up on ginger ale questions. Let me see if I can be texted anything that I'm missing. Ginger ale wise.
Givenchy, that was for Doris.
Oh, the Givenchy perfume. Okay. So did I answer? We're going to hold that up. Can I? By the way, Rhonda, you have to come back a few more times, right? Promise?
Okay.
Yeah, because we're going to.
This is fun.
Yeah, it's more fun than you thought, right?
Yes.
You were dreaded. You tried to cancel twice.
Yes.
I had to drag you out of your car.
Oh, it was awful.
The frog question, you have to call up a frog animal wrangler
Animal wrangler.
and go, hey, I need 50 frogs.
And every live animal that you have on camera has to go through, there's an animal protection that
Sexual harassment training?
sexual harassment training, but that's for the crew. Make sure
the
we
crew.
don't sexually harass the animals.
Frogs, any of the bullfrogs.
But
Yeah.
you have to have someone there from the Humane Society. They either have to come down and make sure the frogs are taken well care of, or they may just take your word for it. But sometimes they come down and visit the set.
Okay.
But you do have to hire animal wranglers.
Okay. So if you see the trial, the frogs versus Everose Raymond, you'll know that they were not well cared for. But there is always.
But that was just Ray.
Yeah. All right. I like anything that makes fun of Ray. I like. Okay. So that clears it up for the frogs. Okay. But you see, there's so many questions. We're just going to run out of time. Now here's another question. Let me see. Okay, this is a general one, which is everybody's going to ask it, which is, what was the hardest prop for you to secure? For example, you had to Nestor the bull, who gored
Oh, yeah.
Brad in the upper thigh.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That you had to secure, right?
There's a bull wrangler.
There's a bull
bull
wrangler. So
wrangler.
you call. Okay. So someone says. You finish the frog episode, you're like, okay, well, no more animals. And someone goes, hey, we need a frog. We need a bull now. And you're like, okay, I should have taken that other job. So then you call the bull wrangler, right? And you go, hey, I need a bull. Has to be, this has to have horns, and it has to run down a street, right? And you send them the scene, and they go, okay, you got it. And now, is there ever like a quote where you go, $5,000, like Phil, this is going to be way too much money. Are there ever that, or there's kind of an industry standard for bulls and frogs?
It's pretty much a standard fee. It's not really negotiable, because when you hire an animal trainer, it's the trainer and the animal, and it's kind of set to what it is, like to have this, and how many trainers they need. For a bull, I don't remember, they may have needed more than one handler.
Okay.
Because you have there's the trailer, the truck, there's a lot involved in
Just handling Brad alone is another wrangler.
it. And then there's Brad.
Brad, yeah. Now, were you out there for that shoot?
I actually was setting something else up at the time when it actually happened.
So
I that's one of the times that I wasn't actually.
Okay. So that, by the way, that's a common thing where you're doing another task. Because there's a couple of scenes that I missed, and I don't even remember why I missed it.
Yeah.
But there's a couple of things, because you as the audience, you're like, oh, that must have been a great scene to see. I did not see the bull running thing.
Yeah.
So,
I actually had set everything up, and then I had to walk away to almost all of them. I was there, but on that one I had to walk away for something. I think I was probably setting up the next scene. I don't remember, but I actually didn't see it happen.
Me neither.
Unfortunately.
So we're
neither
together.
one of us.
Yeah. We're together in not having seen it. All right. I don't want to open up a subject that's going to take too long, but here, let me just show this for the people, because there's a lot of clothing fans, but here, Givenchy, that's the Givenchy card. Hold on, let me hold it up there. There. So now that would be Givenchy. You're calling up the perfumery and you're going,
Yes.
send me some of your stuff. Like, how does that conversation go?
Well, Doris loved Givenchy.
Yes.
Unfortunately, on the show, she wore Ginette.
Yeah. They know that. Sweetie.
Ginette.
Yeah.
Which I would just go and buy at the store.
Ginette.
Was Ginette? Wasn't that what it was? Yeah.
Ginette.
Ginette.
Yeah, I'm just reaffirming.
But in real life, Doris loved Givenchy, which I used to think it was Givenchy, but she kept correcting me. No, it's Givenchy.
So Doris Roberts herself
Yes.
to dress and look, because let's face it, of all the actresses, like, she just felt so put together, and I think something to aspire to, right? She never wore anything that wasn't tailored. Right,
Yes.
and Mary Ellen Boucher, she was here from wardrobe, and she was just talking about how Doris, she took everything when the show ended. She took everything from her wardrobe, and Patricia Heaton took nothing from the show. And so, but Doris
Big
had,
difference.
Well, Doris wore, when you ran into Doris out of Raymond, she looked like.
That's how she dressed.
Yes, that's exactly how she dressed.
Yes.
So the Givenchy. So how, since it wasn't part of the show, did you say, hey, Doris Roberts is a Emmy Award-winning actress, and she would like some of your product?
Yes.
And they
Yes.
go, well, okay, well, where are you going to show it on the show? And you're going to have to come in and smell Doris, and then you'll know that your product is being used. Okay. This, by the way,
They did ask me, they said, we'll send it, will she take a picture holding it? We won't use it for advertising or anything, but we'll just hang it in our office. So
okay.
I took pictures of Doris, and so Doris is like, yes, if I have to take pictures, I'll take pictures. So
She sounds like
took pictures and
Mae West when you describe her.
yes,
Yes,
kind of like that.
She
yeah.
felt Mae West. Okay, let me catch up a little bit before. This is too much fun, Rhonda. This is what I was going to. Rhonda, did you doctor up the carton of Breyer's ice cream to say "Pray Lips" in win, lose, or draw? So let's just talk about labels of products.
Yes.
You constantly made it not the brand name,
Yes.
and made it adjacent to the brand name.
Correct.
So Breyer's ice cream became something else, which somebody would know.
I don't remember, but
Yes, somebody
yes.
will tell.
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. And the bull demanded a golden manure shovel and only the best hay that money could buy. Yes. Very
Yes.
funny. Very funny. Bob, did the bull have an agent? Yes. Oh, see, Bob, don't be funnier than the host. See, that's a lesson there. Weren't there a few different Shamskys?
I don't remember. I thought it was the same one, but I don't remember.
I thought it was the same one.
I thought it
And I thought Shamsky
I think it was.
passed during, not the show, but during the show, and then we got rid of, weren't there a few different Shamskys? Yes. Susan, I thought Marie was a Gina Tay kind of gal. Yeah, great. Absolutely, for the show. Okay.
Marie was Jean Naté.
Yep.
Doris was Givenchy.
Givenchy, Doris. Didn't Marie? Yes. Okay. See that? You can't get it past them. Gina Tay coming
They
up.
know.
What other products paid? So, Michael, what other products paid to be on ELR? I don't know that any products paid to be on ELR. Do you know, Rhonda?
I believe.
A secret, ladies and gentlemen. Here comes a secret that's never been said before.
I just don't
Lock
remember.
the doors.
Was it Raymond? Sometimes,
Oh, the shows
done
are
a lot.
blurring together.
Shows blur together.
You also did Community
Community for 6
after,
years, yeah.
after Raymond, yeah.
And Animal Practice and Gilmore Girls. And so.
Gilmore Girls. Okay, well, that's a huge audience. That's a huge audience. So, hold on, I'm going to adjust your mic just a little bit.
Okay.
So something, but you just don't know that it was.
Mayonnaise.
No, that was Old Christine.
That was Old Christine?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
mayonnaise.
let me just tell that
No.
story real quickly. There's two kind of camps. So Phil Rosenthal was very much of like, look, if we start getting influenced by the advertisers, could it affect our stories? Now, I'm going to give you a little history lesson real quickly. Please, everybody, pull up your I'm about to be bored chairs. In the old days, way back in the 40s, the shows were done by advertising companies. So when you were a writer, you would go to the, Chesterfield's, whoever runs that, advertising company for Chesterfield, you go, I have some show ideas. And we'll take that show, great idea, Tom. Now let's go to CBS and see if we can sell that show, that radio show, let's say. And so it was all advertising. Advertisers did it. They paid the dime. And then slowly the network said, you know what? Why don't we get into the business of actually owning and making the shows and then having advertisers pay? So it's not the origin is of having advertising. That's why you would see Texaco Theater, or you would see all these things. So it was such a heavy presence. That preceded what we had, in the 70s and 80s. Now, a story that was told to me that you'll never hear anywhere else, that Rhonda, because she can't remember because she drank all of Ray's booze instead of Raymond, yes. The line producer of Old Christine, I was visiting her and I said, how's it going? Now, for those of you that are following along with current conditions, There's no more Everett Raymond's coming around where they do 200 episodes. There are no multicam shows that are hits anymore. The Big Bang Theory and maybe Young Sheldon are probably the last long-running sitcoms. Okay. The budgets are being cut immensely. So the line producer said to me, of old Christine, you know what? Hellman said to me, if you can say Hellman's on the show, we'll give you X numbers of dollars. And so that line producer said, well, that will cover my budget. So let me go to the showrunner and say, hey, how do we put that in without compromising your artistic value and make your show that you want? So what they did is Julie Louis-Dreyfus said, I'm going to reward myself with a tuna fish sandwich with mayonnaise. Wait, not just mayonnaise, Hellman's mayonnaise. That was in the script as far as she told me. And that paid, $250,000, something like that. Yeah. So if the showrunner's okay with it, and if you're from the East Coast and you know Hellman's mayonnaise, it's not a crazy shoehorned leap to do that. So so on Raymond, as far as I know, we'll have to ask an expert named Phil Rosenthal. I don't know of any placement on the show.
Yeah. Typically what we did was, if it was part of the storyline, we used it, but we didn't really say and show a product. Like if it was ginger ale, we didn't show the ginger ale and say it at the same time. He could ask for something to drink or ask for a ginger ale, but it wasn't at the same time.
He never said, can I have a Canadian dry ginger ale?
I
don't think so.
I doubt it. Yeah.
These people
they would know, but I don't think
yeah.
so. And especially not if he was holding one.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let me catch up on Instagram comments. Breyers, the B was turned into a D for Dryers, if I remember correctly.
Well, Breyers and Dryers are two different ice creams.
Oh, legitimate ones.
Two legitimate. One was East Coast, but now at that time, one of them was really only on the East Coast. Now you can get East Coast, West Coast.
Yeah.
That was another thing we were aware of trying to do also, because the water that Ray drank was just an East Coast water.
Yeah. Can we talk more about Ray and Robert's childhood? I can on another show.
I'll make it up.
Yeah. Doris wore basic. Hi, Teresa in Chicago. I love Teresa in Chicago. There's a restaurant that her family runs, Stefano's, in Chicago. And if you ever go with me to Chicago, I will get you a 12% discount. Okay.
Love it.
Doris wore black basic with colorful jackets like her friend Joan Rivers. Yes, absolutely true. I love the magnets on the fridge idea. Ray stinks. Now, who did the drawings on the refrigerator? Was that set dressing?
It was a combination. Sometimes people sent in drawings and we would put them up. Some were my kids' drawings. Some were other people on the show, other cast or crew members, and we would put them up there.
Yeah. By the way, I noticed, now you know because you you have a granddaughter,
yes.
And I've sent her we have a PBS series featuring someone named Mr. Clown. And on a few episodes of Everett Raymond, I think all of season 2 maybe, there's a drawing of Mr. Clown on the refrigerator that I just noticed recently. And I don't know, I think Madeline Sweeten probably did it.
Maybe.
And it was on there for like maybe 2 full years or a full year. And I noticed, I go,
we did that for you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yes.
I appreciate it, Rhonda.
I don't remember who drew it.
Yeah, we'll find out. We'll get some answers. Okay, was it real ginger ale or bottle
ginger ale.
Or bottle with water? I would think there'd be a lot of belching. That's an excellent word to repulse everybody, Annabelle.
It was real ginger ale.
Excellent. Yeah, I would think that Raymond would drink, so now this brings up a question. This is a burning question that people have. Did the actors say, hey, Rhonda, I have to eat in every scene. I like this and I don't like this. Get me this. Mm-hmm. Oh, do tell. What would they say?
Certain foods are hard to eat for actors. Salads are kind of hard because the green gets stuck in your teeth. Grapes are a very good thing. A lot of actors like to eat grapes because they're very easy to eat. They don't always do a lot of eating. It's talking, and if you really watch, most of them aren't really eating too much.
They're miming eating.
They're miming eating, or they take very little bites. It's very hard, I think, to act and eat at the same time, or talk and eat at the same time.
It's not pleasant for the audience either.
Yeah.
Okay, so then can you remember what Doris or Patty or if any of them were like, hey, can you make sure that I have red grapes, white grapes, no apple, like, or don't you remember? Because,
I just remember grapes were, I believe that's what that Patty would eat, was grapes, I think.
Okay. Probably because Patty needed to keep her womanly figure of
Don't we all? Yeah.
40 pounds or whatever she
Yes.
weighed during that. Except for when she was pregnant twice.
Oh, yeah.
When she was pregnant, then it was a different ballgame altogether.
Yeah.
All right, let me catch up on some Instagram because we still, and sorry, that was another question that I remember someone asked. Did you have to reheat the food? In other words, if they're eating a warm lasagna, did you have to reheat the food or not really?
Fortunately on our show, because we shot it like we were doing a play, and we only did so many takes, the food pretty much stayed edible. It wasn't cold, so I heat it up before serving it. It can't be too hot because then they can't eat it. So it wasn't out there a long time.
Okay.
But if necessary, yes, I would.
There. By the way, I brought us up full frame. It's a little bit alarming.
Yes.
It's a lot. No, but now I can't see all the comments that are coming in. Okay. What used to paint Ray's house? Was it lemon meringue? Okay. What was used? I'm adding a couple things. So that's when Marie was painting. I found the original label. I found the original label, the fake label that you made or had somebody make. I have it at my house. But you said the paint was... It's the children's paint that you can eat.
Yeah, like tempera paint.
Tempera paint, thin down. And then we
yeah.
sprayed Doris with it.
Right.
And if I remember, we only did one take of that because you couldn't clean up Doris. And I think it was the last take of the show.
I think we would cut just before the spray happened.
Yeah.
And do it over again and then do the spray.
And that happened a lot, everybody, for stuff that you were worrying about. When they had the shower scene in the episode The Sigh, Ray and Patty hosed down at each other. Well, they did every take up into the getting wet. As many takes, and because once you got wet, there's no going back with hair and stuff like that. So with Doris being sprayed with the tempera paint, that was it. And we have a Polaroid somewhere. Oh, speaking of Polaroids. Okay, I'm holding this up. This, everybody, is from an episode called The Home, okay? Rhonda Robinson, who's sitting next to me, the property master, has not seen this since August of 2004.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now what's inside of this, everybody, is, let's see, anticipation.
Ooh.
Okay, hold on. Here we have the script itself, okay, ladies and gentlemen, who've been watching a long time. This is The Home, okay, one of our favorite things. There's a name written on there. Rhonda, I'd like you to guess what the name is. No
Could it be mine?
It is Rhonda's name. It says Rhonda, and then you have a phone number written on top here, Nicole or Nader or something.
Mandy?
Could be.
Mandy or Nicole? I don't know who that is.
August 25th, 2003, written by Tucker Cawley and Jeremy Stevens, The Home. So that is them moving away, okay? So for everybody, this is a shooting script, and it has a couple of different colored pages, salmon, and it has the time that page was printed, so everybody's up to speed. Now, the more important thing is, go ahead and reach into that envelope, Rhonda.
Ooh.
Okay, so these are all of, here, let me hold one up for them. So here is the, I don't know why, but the top of the refrigerator. Why would we want to show the top of the refrigerator, Rhonda, in that episode?
Then something must have moved during that episode.
Perhaps, Rhonda. Oh. Somebody tried to lift somebody onto a refrigerator.
Yes. Okay. So that made sure that every time we reset it, that it looked exactly the same for continuity.
So that was for continuity, everybody. There you go. Rhonda has passed the test. She is not an imposter. She guessed it. So you would take a picture because Brad. So here's another angle of that, and I'm just going to tell you because we've already dove deep into this. The refrigerator was lowered by about 2 inches because Brad had a bad back.
Oh,
and so he was having trouble lifting Monica. So you can see that compare this to other episodes, the top of the wine bottle comes underneath, right underneath the, what do they call it? The molding.
The molding.
So, Your Honor, I rest my case.
They lowered
Brad
it.
Garrett. Yes.
We lowered it.
Yes. So here's other photos. I'll post these. These are photos that Rhonda took with a Polaroid camera
Polaroid.
of everything to make sure for continuity. So you want to be a cook. Box, right? They took that. I don't even know what that is.
I don't either.
We'll show it to the camera.
Oh, it's a box with cushions and
It must be
stuff?
just their moving out box.
yeah.
So there you go.
And because the refrigerator was involved and they had to put
them.
Patty up there, that meant that everything on the refrigerator could be knocked and moved. So we would make sure it went back in the exact same spot.
So this is a perfect example, everybody. That's the refrigerator. You're like, oh, okay, whoop-de-doo. But because when Ray threw Patty against there, everything probably moved.
Mm-hmm.
So now, in between takes, Rhonda has to go, you know what? In 20 years, I don't want to get gruff from a bunch of people on a Zoom. I better make sure that everything goes back to how it was.
Yes.
Right? So there we go. So that's a tea set.
Tea set.
So when were they having tea, everybody? That was them announcing that they're moving, perhaps, because that's Ray and Deborah's coffee table. So when they announced they were moving, they were, yes. So let me see this. Okay. Patty had a bad back from being thrown against. Beth, I don't know if that's true. I've heard that. But I will ask Patty next that Patty had a bad back from being thrown up there.
Because of that, it's possible.
Possible, but I think Patty's a pretty rough cookie.
Yeah.
Let me see. What happened to the props after they weren't needed? Is there a sailboat at a church fundraiser somewhere? He's alluding to the statue.
Oh, the statue.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the statue. Okay. So sorry. Before to put a pin in this, these are all the Polaroids from the home. When Rhonda, when we were wrapping up the show, let me put this in. Let me not make this noise. The Rhonda, maybe I should have you sign and autograph this later. When the show was ending, I said to Rhonda, I did a tour, you wouldn't remember this, but I did a tour with a video camera and I went through every single department. Mm-hmm. But I saw you and Don. Mm-hmm. So Don, what was Don's official title?
Assistant prop master.
Assistant prop master. Okay, so Rhonda and Don, we became very close because we saw each other for 9 years and it was like family, and it's very sad when we no longer work together. However, I didn't let that sadness get in the way of asking you, what are you doing with all these scripts? Like the one I just showed you. They were all in boxes. And you said, do you remember what you said to me?
I don't remember.
Well, what would you think you would do with those?
I think I said I was going to toss them or ask you if you wanted them.
You didn't ask me if I wanted them. You
said I was
said,
gonna
I'm
toss
throwing them in the dumpster, Tom. And just like your career, it's going into the dumpster. And I
Probably
said,
said that.
do you mind, Rhonda, if I take all of these scripts? And you're like, I got to throw them in the dumpster. So whether you take them and your house becomes the effective dumpster, that's what happened. So I did that with every single props script. And then here is also every
Wardrobe.
single wardrobe script. So now,
Wow, look at that.
yes. So I'll hold it up for people. There's Patty in a sexy pose, everybody. Here you go. For those, some men like Patty out there. There you go. There's Patty in a sexy pose. There she is in her pajamas, etc. So it's probably the only show that has every wardrobe script and every prop script together. This, by the way, is for, where's Patty looking? Oh, the letter. This is the letter, one of our best episodes from season 2 of all time. Okay, let's see, Rhonda. We're going to run out of time. Let me see what. Oh my good. Okay, here we go. Let's keep going. Here we go. What happened to the props after they weren't needed? Is there a small church? Okay, yes. So we didn't even answer that question. What happened for the most part, what happened to the props? Other than the sailboat he's talking about, like ordinary props.
Well, if I thought that they were going to be used on the show again or they needed to stay in the set, they stayed in the set. If a lot of the props I had 2 of, and I think one went to Rory.
Rory is Ray's manager, who was the executive producer also of Raymond, and we kind of make fun because he seemed to take every prop that there was.
He did. There was the whole, was it Mr. Fuzzy Pants? That there was, he got kidnapped?
Oh, did he?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
One of the props, I forgot, I think Rory took him.
Okay.
And I had made him from, I made him from a Santa hat that I bought in a used store. And
there was only one Mr. Fuzzy Pants?
I only made one. Typically I would make 2, but I believe I only made one Mr. Fuzzy Pants.
And Rory absconded with it?
Yeah.
And then we needed to find it?
I think whoever wrote the episode, was it Tucker?
Could be.
Whatever prop it was, and whatever writer, I think it was Tucker,
Okay.
or it was Lou.
Yeah.
It was one of those 2. They wanted the prop because Phil had then said, well, whatever writer wrote that episode, that they get first choice of the prop.
Sure, which makes sense.
Yes.
And so they said, hey, Rhonda, can I have Mr. Fuzzy Pants,
I
please?
said, well, Mr. Fuzzy Pants is in New York now with Rory. So then that writer wrote a letter saying he wanted his prop.
Oh, wow.
And told me to call and tell them. And
wow.
Rory said,
Tough.
Rory sent one back saying how he's been kidnapped. I think he may have even done it with cut out in a magazine. And if you want him back, that he needs to, follow
that's
these
hysterical.
directions. And that went back and forth. And then I think we had to buy a plane seat for him to come back.
Oh, wow. I don't know why. This is a fantastic story.
Oh, you never knew this story?
No, I've never heard this story in my life. I barely was on the show.
It was either for Mr. Fuzzy Pants or it was for Timmy.
Okay, so that brings another question. So for Timmy, somebody just asked about Timmy, but because I asked you this in the past, and you may not know this, but I had a ventriloquist dummy, okay, and Kathy Stump broke my dummy in the writer's room in a let's call it an angry, unsolicited smashing of. So then I had this, and there's a picture of me in the writer's room repairing this thing. Then she wrote that episode, Traffic Cop Timmy. Okay. So
I didn't know that story.
Someone just asked. Well, I'm not saying. Seems like there's a tie there that I had, and then she wrote that. But the question is, where did you get Traffic Cop Timmy? And I remember asking you at the time, and I would probably remember more. You just sourced it from a props thing. There was no ventriloquist outlet you went to.
No, I actually contacted a puppet place. I think it was a Jim Henson people. I'm not sure. I don't remember now. Mm-hmm. I then had them do some for some other shows after that, but they excuse me, they made it for me. I just talked with them and we sat down and kind of designed this puppet, and then they made it, and then I had the clothes made for him, had his uniform made.
The cop's clothes. Mm-hmm. And then where did he end up?
I think he went to whoever the writer was for that episode. Was it Kathy? Maybe Kathy. Or Kathy or Rory.
Yeah.
Or you.
No.
Because someone to you.
Yeah. No, I never saw him. Tell us how you found. Okay. Yes. Traffic Cop Timmy. Okay, I got that. Patty had a bad. Okay. Wow. I'm repeating my questions. Yes. Let me go back up here.
Mashed
everybody.
Potatoes, yes.
In my opinion, Frank ate more than any other character. I would say so, because we would sit him down. We would sit him down in the chair, and he would like to be eating Funyuns and popcorn and whatever. Okay.
Sometimes when I put the food down, they would eat it, and we hadn't started the scene yet. And then I'd put more food on the plate.
That's called habit, was snacking. That's called snacking. Okay, so Wendy, those chocolate layer cakes. Had me craving it all the time. Okay, so let me cut to the chase, because you're going to have to come back, because I want to flip through another time. The Rolodex is just like, it's a Frank's Custom Lab, Casino de Paris, Sorry, am I invading your privacy by going through this?
Brought it for this.
Yes. Titleist.
Titleist. You know what that was for?
Fun with Deborah.
Ray and his Titleist. That's how I got all of the
Golf stuff. Okay. Because Ray and Patty play in Fun with Deborah. Titleist, yeah. Oh,
and
boy.
it would be sitting in the back in the living room upstage.
Yes.
The Titleist bag.
Now, were you still Rich Romano? Rich Romano. Did not know that you
Don't
guys
know
dated. Let me see. Rich, that's just a rumor, everybody, that I'm trying to start. Roger Dunn Golf, yes, recording equipment. So now, let me ask you something, Rhonda, because now that you're almost 30, there's a point where you have something called an iPhone with every address. And were you ever tempted to go that route? Or you just didn't want to get rid of this? Okay, you have your iPhone. Okay.
Yes.
The suspense here, everybody.
It
Rhonda's
is
looking for her
just
phone.
full of...
So if we typed in ginger ale, though, it wouldn't be there.
it probably wouldn't be here.
Let's see.
Nope.
Okay. So now what we're seeing is the transformation from old school to a new iPhone, because this would have been any prop person would have been like, I stole Rhonda's Rolodex.
Gosh, yes.
And they would be like, oh my God, what is Rhonda? Rhonda, she's in depression. She's suicidal.
I had people come in and be
Try
copying down.
Those things.
Yeah.
Bill Barron. Oh well. Okay. I don't want to, because you're not privy to seeing, but I'm just scrolling through, and it's just a cornucopia of things. Okay. The chocolate cake somebody just mentioned. Now, just because we're running out of time, and please promise me you'll come back, right?
Okay.
Because
this is fun.
Yeah, we still have to do one more thing before we say goodbye. The chocolate cake, I'm going to cut to the chase. You can corroborate, but I speak faster than you. I asked Rhonda a while ago, Rhonda, what's the story with the chocolate cake? She said it was made by a bakery. They called it the Rhonda Cake. The bakery's no longer in business. Do you remember anybody that worked there? Yes, I do. And so Tom would bother Rhonda and go, does this person look like it? Does this person? And then we narrowed it down. I found the person that would make the chocolate cake. However, she's not working at a bakery. She's working in a completely different industry. So I don't know whether it's going to take you and I together, I'm including you with it, versus, hey, me contacting her out of the blue and going, hey, I know you don't make cakes anymore, but do you remember the Rhonda cake? Well, my name is Tom, and do you want to make the cake with me on camera? Oh. Yeah, that's the goal. Oh. Versus saying, oh, we got the recipe.
Yes.
So do you think, because she loved you, right?
They were so nice in there.
So tell the story of sourcing that cake, because let me just cut to the chase. It's the best cake I've ever eaten. So on show day, when we had and we didn't do this deliberately, but when they had a cake in the scene, Rhonda would have to source, and you can tell me how many, but all of a sudden at Craft Services, where we eat, there would be the chocolate cake.
Yes.
And you'd be like, this is the greatest day of my life. And we would all get to eat Marie's chocolate cake.
Yes.
So just tell me how you sourced it, and then how many you would have to get for the show, and why you even landed on that.
Yeah. I had used this bakery before. It was called Holly's Bakery, and not all places want to deal with TV shows, because everything we need it right away. We need it now, and it was not past me to show up and find their numbers and show up after hours banging on their door. Like, they rewrote the scene. I need it now. I need it, and I needed it, at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Or so that's why a lot of them, they don't really like dealing with studios. And then we don't just need one; we need 6, and they need to all be exactly the same. And then we need extra frosting or that sort of thing. But Holly's Bakery, I went in and told them this is what I want, and we worked on this cake of chocolate cake with chocolate fudge filling and extra frosting on it. And by the way, I wasn't even a chocolate eater, but this cake was so good.
That's what they all say.
I know. And we came up with this cake that everybody just loved. They didn't have it in their bakery. They did not make this for anyone else. And it just became, I don't know why though.
I've never tasted it in my life before or since. You know what I mean? It is just the combination of it was just exquisite. Of course,
Fudge and just, yeah.
and the moisture level was, and I can't believe it was fat free.
Yes, and I can't believe that they didn't just sell this in their.
Doesn't. So it doesn't. I'm going to pull up a picture. It doesn't make sense that they didn't sell it because the cost can't be here. I don't know if you can see.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so this is the cake. I'm going to show it to the camera.
Because it didn't look fancy, and most people, when they go into a bakery, they want a really pretty cake. And this cake was, I wanted it to be homemade looking.
Yeah.
So I didn't want anything fancy on it.
Yeah, and this was when Raymond, from the kicker, Raymond slaps it into the radio into it.
Oh wow.
Okay.
I do remember one time a funny story with the bakery. If the woman that helped me didn't happen to be there, and I would call and say, hey, I need the Rhonda cake. And so one day I called and I said, I need the Rhonda cake. I'll be picking it up tomorrow, or they would deliver it sometimes.
Yeah.
They deliver, and I said, and I need extra frosting on the side. So they bring me the cakes, and I asked the guy, say, where's the extra frosting? He said, well, they didn't give it to me. So I call the bakery, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need an extra frosting on the side. I ordered that because I think Marie was frosting it.
Okay.
And I'm talking to a new baker that they had doing something, and they said, oh, we put extra frosting on the side of the cake.
Oh.
So it was
translation problem.
Yes, actually really thick frosting, so I had to scrape all that extra frosting off and put it in a bowl off of all 6 of the cakes.
This is a literal.
It was literal.
Yeah. By the way, I'll tell you just. I wrote a script once for a foreign country, and they said, "How would you like your credit to read? Thomas Caltabiano or Tom Caltabiano?" So I said, "Just Tom," and so. That's what my credit is. Tom.
Just
Tom. No, just Cher,
Tom.
Prince, Tom.
Yes.
That was it. And I was like, oh no. Okay. So Nair, here I'm going to show you a secret here for everybody. Let me see this. Did my lock go on? No. Okay. So the chocolate cake we are going to try and find. So here, everybody, you recognize that baby delivery person. I think they call it a nurse, who looks suspiciously like Rhonda. And do you remember, Rhonda, why you had to do that?
I think because it was a real baby and only so many people could handle it.
Okay. So this is rehearsal with a doll.
Yes.
And then they switch it out with a real baby.
Yeah.
Now, were you in charge of wrangling babies?
Yes.
So how do you get a baby?
Well, I
know how you get a
actually,
baby.
yes, I actually didn't hire the baby. I shouldn't say that. But
Okay.
Once the baby was on the set,
Yes.
then there was a baby wrangler, a teacher kind of a person, to make sure that the baby was only in front of the lights for a certain amount of time, but only so many people can handle the baby.
Sure.
And I'm one of the people on the set that can handle the baby. And
Okay.
everything has to be brand new and cleaned and washed. So there's a lot of protocol that goes involved with the baby, and that it has, and that the baby has a crib off stage in the dressing room with clean sheets, and there's a lot involved.
Much more than Ray got.
Yeah, Ray didn't get clean sheets. But
Yeah.
then he didn't need them.
Okay. Was the ice cream mashed potatoes? Joe asked.
It was.
It was.
It was.
Joe, do you have because you're in the business? Is that your so they were eating warm mashed potatoes, room temperature
Yes.
mashed potatoes.
Yes.
Okay. So there you go. Who knew that the ice cream was mashed potatoes? Makes it.
It doesn't melt.
Yeah.
And sometimes I would put like glycerin, some stuff I would put in there. It wasn't glycerin, but some things that made it shiny. I've forgotten now what I used. I had
The
a special
shiny thing was, yeah.
Yeah, I had a special recipe that I would make up. So yeah, mashed potatoes with say chocolate chips.
Not very good. Okay, so now this is a general question. So Tammy, where did all the food come from? So that's the most global question, because what I'm going to cut to the chase. Rhonda had to get it from many different places. So The lasagna you would get from...
Either a food stylist, or I would use, there was an Italian restaurant nearby that I would go get.
What was that called?
It was on Melrose.
On Melrose?
On Melrose, I believe.
Okay, because we were in the
was
valley.
Italian.
I know they deliver.
Oh,
I know there's cars. Are you confusing with Community or one of your other
Whatever,
million shows?
Some show. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there was a hurry.
What about
whatever.
cannolis? What about cannolis?
Cannolis, I would. Oh, there was a place called Roma's in the valley on Lancashire.
There is still aromas that we
And-
get food when we were catering here for our shoot here.
They're still there.
Roma Cafe. It's a standalone place that looks like it's from 1954.
I've been going there even back on Who's the Boss. That's where we get stuff for Tony.
Let me see. Can we look it up here in the studio and see if
Roma's.
Roma's is here? Maybe my friend can
It's probably even in
look it
here.
up. Roma's. Oh, it's probably in there. Would it be under R?
Probably.
Oh, let's
Either
test your
under-
system. Let me see. Don't LMN P. Hold on. I'm getting there. R. Okay, let's see how up to date your thing is. The Racket
these
Center.
Are old.
Oh,
Remember the
Rainbow
vacuum?
Vacuum. Everybody, Rainbow Vacuum was HumVac. There you go. That was the HumVac episode. Okay. Let me see this.
Yeah, this has not been updated in.
I'm sorry, Rhonda. I'm
long
looking
time.
through
It's
PC
okay.
vintage props. Let's see.
Records.
Record surplus, recording equipment, research, religious gifts, research.
Me.
You have a number for you in your Rolodex that you own.
Yes, because my assistants would need.
Oh, the rocking chair, Rocks and Gems, Rogers and Cowan. That's a
Product placement.
product placement, people. Son of a gun. Roma Groceries. Is it 6449 Lancashire Boulevard? Let's see.
Same place.
Wow. They make the best tuna fish salad champ with plenty of crunch. I'm being serious. Wow. How cool is that?
Danza's place too.
Tony
And
Danza,
Ray.
when you were there for Who's the Boss, you mean?
Or we go there for Who's
Food?
Boss too.
Okay.
Yeah. But
This might be the most exciting moment I've had. I'm being serious. In fact, because the fact that we go there, and I just drove by it recently, I was like, oh my God, that's Roma, where I'd never been there. And it's a standalone place that looks like it has been developed around, and there's like an abandoned lot next to it. You know, there's a post office right next to it. Okay.
I used to live near there, my very first apartment.
Okay.
I caught it on fire, but
That will be for another day, everybody. Rhonda catches her appointment on fire. Okay, her apartment on fire. Okay, let me catch up. Tuna must have salad. I came back for 1 second because I forgot to ask about the sauce. Was Marie's tofu turkey made from
tofu.
Okay.
Food stylist. We worked on that together, and food stylist helped on that.
So for those of you, a food stylist is someone who does exactly that, styles food.
Yeah.
So when you do a food shoot, a lot of times there's something that's not necessarily edible, but they come in, they spray it with stuff, they make it completely shiny and inedible, but the best looking thing you've ever had. So you have to hire a food stylist for any real food shoot where the product is being highlighted. Not necessarily on there was Raymond for every scene, but when you know that has to stand up for to the camera. What was the sauce that was dumped on Ray's lap when Deborah made something good? And people point out Ray's underwear never got wet. His whole front of his pants are soaking wet. And then he takes off his pants and he's like, give me your pants. I'm going to clean them. And his underwear were not wet. That's not your fault, Rhonda.
No.
I'm just pointing it out.
No.
I
don't remember
You don't
that
remember the
one.
sauce?
No. What kind of sauce was it?
You don't even remember the episode?
No.
What was that episode, everybody? Was that Deborah makes something good?
Was it spaghetti sauce?
Brajol.
stumped?
Okay, so the
Oh,
brajol.
yes.
For the brajol.
Wow.
Can we look up what season that one was? Deborah makes something good. Because I'm going to show you this, Rhonda. I can't bring it up for the audience, but I can do this. If we know, I need this hard drive plugged in though. Hold on. Okay, so folks, I'm plugging in a hard drive that'll allow me to see every episode. Deborah makes something good. What episode could that have been? Season
Look at
4,
you. My
episode
gosh.
18. Season 4, episode 18. Okay, watch and learn. Brenda, wow.
Or Rhonda.
Or Rhonda, doesn't matter.
One of us.
Yeah, okay, episode 18. Where would that be in the scheme of things? That's probably... So what you're not seeing, everybody, is I could share the screen, maybe. There's 10th anniversary. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm going to show this to the studio audience, too. So that's the
ginger
scene.
ale.
Yep. So here's the scene, Rhonda. She's dumping sauce.
Spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
Yes.
Spaghetti sauce. And then here, you'll see Patty looks. So there's Phil giving notes. It's black and white, so you can't tell. Okay, now we're out of it. But now you're reminded of the scene.
Yes.
So what I showed everybody, I have at my fingertips every single episode. Okay, here we go. Yes, when she made bracciole, season 4. See, these guys are so good. Thank you,
Boy.
Fly Lady, Linda. So the bracciole episode. So okay, somebody asked this. I'm really remembering.
yeah.
We do have to end it eventually, okay? Because it will come out in podcast form, and then people can listen to it without having to look at our faces. So, which is easier. Not, you know what I'm trying to say. It's easier to listen to somebody than watch them. Somebody wrote that Robert refers to the box of recipes that Marie had. And did you have to create that box of recipes?
I did.
Okay, and what did you use to create that box of recipes?
I don't remember. No, you know what I did? I just got the cards and wrote recipes out, recipes from my recipes.
Okay.
And put them in there and aged them so that it looked like she'd had them for a long time. I think some of them were even just recipes that I had that were mine.
Okay.
That I put in there.
Because and maybe you can help me, I'm not signing you up for it, don't worry, but there's so much demand for a recipe book, you know, and when we did the Rose Raymond book, our family album, people pitched to us all these different type of books ideas, and Phil's like, no, I want to do the idea that was my idea. I'm not saying it because it was my idea, but it was basically Ray and Phil writing their handwritten captions to my photos, right? So that was the very more heartfelt, where some outsider isn't making up the storyline, because I don't think Phil would have gone for that. But even if we source, and I don't know if you've met Phil Rosenthal or seen him on Somebody Feed Phil, but on Somebody Feed Phil, he's a big hit on Netflix. And so there's a natural tie there. He has a book, cookbook out with all the best recipes from the places he's visited. So not Phil's recipes, not Phil Rosenthal cooking, which is important. Good. So that might be something we could do. The bracciole source all. Well, if we can get the person who did the cake, that would be really good.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so let me see.
That was hard finding someone to make
The
that.
bracciole?
Yes.
Do you remember who made it?
I think so. I think I do.
Do we have
Food
to
stylist.
give you money to... Oh, a food stylist made it?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I know which one it was.
Do you want to give me the
Because I
name?
had different ones. Look under food.
F?
F.
Don't try and challenge my alphabet knowledge, Rhonda. By the way, we should have an alcoholic beverage for Rhonda instead of these, you know, if she's going to be here all night. Let's see. EFG. Thank you, everybody, for staying with us. We're a few more minutes because...
Thank you for making this so easy.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be fun. I said it's just like us hanging out chatting. Fab Babes.
Fake babies.
Oh, fake babies. There's a thing called fake babies.
Oh, yeah.
This is awesome. By the way, it is now fake food, right? Fall pad suits.
Oh, if
You
you
have
need
to
the
fall.
suit, because I would also have to get that.
Yes. Donnell, thank you for that, because I worry, Donnell, she is the encyclopedic knowledge. She is saying, we're having a great time with you and Rhonda.
Oh, good.
That is very nice of you, Donnell. By the way, let me just bring this up. That's a great shot, Donnell. Let's see, Linda. You told us once Phil always felt that people were more comfortable when they met around food. So he placed a great deal of importance on keeping food in the show. Yes, you are absolutely correct. That is a very good comment. There is talk of a reunion show. Okay, now it's not a reunion show as in we write new scripts and we have new episodes, but a show where we reminisce. So Phil and Ray and myself are helping to make that happen and hoping to make that happen. But we are in conversation. They are in conversation with powers that be. And so just for everybody watching, that is a real rumor. But don't worry, it's not remaking the series, because a lot of people write instantly, well, Peter and Doris are no longer with us. So the idea of the show is to reminisce, just like you and I are reminiscing. We could talk for another 4 hours, right?
Easily.
And so now, and when you come back again, we'll pick up where we left off. But it would be that. It would be Ray, Phil, and the main cast, and then, maybe Alex Meneses, etc., reminiscing and paying homage to Doris and Peter, etc., much like the Friends series did. So that is a real rumor, everybody. So don't Feldmar Watch Company.
Remember that place?
Yes, that's where I got. Is it closed now? That's where I got my watch.
Sure. Oh, great place.
Yeah. Figurines, film develop. Wow, that has changed a lot.
But you still need to have these, I believe this place is still there, Custom Darkroom.
Custom Darkroom, I'm going to call you when I need you. Fire extinguishers, fire extinguishers, fire inspector.
Anytime you have anything that's lit, a match, a candle, you have to have a fire inspector. I'd have to call and talk to the fire inspector and get a number that says I did call and talk to them to tell them what sort of fire we had on the show.
Now this one seems to be worn out. Flask liquor seems to have a lot of usage.
Oh yeah.
That's floats. What is a float? Parade
like
float.
For parades.
Florist. Okay. Frank's Custom.
Black and white lab.
Oh, Frank's Custom Lab. Frank's. A lot of people.
Stein. Novelty.
Fred Siegel, high-end place. Oh, no food stylist. Interesting. Maybe would you know them by person, by name?
What else would I have them under?
Well, we can solve this on part 7. Okay. Annabelle, tissues lit on fire. Yes. Reminiscing show would be awesome. Please make it happen. Sandy Phillips, thank you. Henry, your comments are always so funny. I missed Henry's comments. Henry Wang, here we go. Henry Wang, talk is cheap. Let's go to Vegas. Does anyone have a brother to borrow money from? Very funny. Robert needs money. An episode I know well because I wrote it. Yes, that would be awesome. Lynn, absolutely. So interesting. Great show. Better than Zippers, the one-man wedding band. That's true. That was in an episode of Ever's Raymond, Rhonda, in case you don't remember, because you haven't watched the show 400 times. Yes.
Or for 20 years.
Yes, for 20 years, yes. How did you control the fire that was burning on the counter? I know that. It was a gas tube.
Yeah.
And there was a gentleman who had a source, and he was turning the thing on and off, or regulating the flow. So and I have close up. What was the name of that episode? Tissues.
We had Cal there for a while. Remember Cal, special effects, who did the Jaws, the shark for Jaws. He did the shark for Jaws. Yeah. I'm not impressed. Okay. Yes. But then we had someone else come in and do special effects, and I don't remember who that was. Oh, so Cal from Jaws was doing it, and then this gentleman had a mustache and shaved his head. The guy that I remember. That's a different guy. Yes. Yeah. He lived in an airplane hangar, I remember, because I visited him, because it was a fascinating life story. Okay, let's here we have to. This is what we do. You don't know this, Rhonda. Okay, this is called the canister. So for everybody, this is the canister. The only reason I have it is because Rhonda was nice enough to send it to me because we were doing a live watch party with Phil, and so she sent it to me when she was living not here, and a very nice note inside. And I said, this was
maybe last November, 2 Novembers ago, I think it was. And I said, Rhonda, I'll send it back to you next week. And that was a year and a half ago. So I've blocked Rhonda's number. Now, Rhonda, first of all, let's talk. The canister, it's custom made?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about this.
This was just a white metal can that I bought, I think 5 of them, maybe 5 or 6 of them, and then painted them, and then had this, drew out something that I wanted, and then I don't remember who I had actually printed out to put it on for me.
And the can, it's a crazy heavy duty.
It is.
This
yeah.
can.
Well, it's supposed to be, also it was supposed to be Ray's grandmother's, so which meant that it would have been
You're right.
heavy duty, you know? I mean, you have to think about what the time period is supposed to be that you're getting the prop for. And not that people would notice that it isn't, but I think what happens is when something isn't real or doesn't look real, that's what they notice. They don't notice if it is,
Right.
but they notice if it isn't.
The absence of reality, of realness. So, what we do, Rhonda, is we taste something and I rate it with a canister rating of 0 to 10.
Okay.
And placed inside here, okay, is something. Okay, and it's a different thing. I don't know what it is. So, and it's usually, and let me just say, here, let me show it to people. This is a dark caramel wafer biscuit. Okay, it's probably made in the UK or Scotland, somewhere over there. Okay, so then I rank it, and we just haven't caught up with our graphics yet. Let me scroll down here. The canister is ELR's Rosebud. Thank you, Bob Silva. Oh, see, Rhonda doesn't laugh easily. I've made her laugh twice. And Bob, I think when I said don't be funnier than me, I really meant it. Okay, so now I'm opening this up. I call this the person sitting behind you at the theater time. Okay. Do you enjoy? So Rhonda, you're also like me from America. Mm-hmm. So I only know cookies. And so when I started, I think it was during COVID when I got introduced to British biscuits. I mean, I knew they were out there, but then all of a sudden I started, I think I was buying something, let me think what it is. Branston's, some type of pickled thing. Is it Branston's? I'm not sure. And then I started tasting British biscuits, which are cookies.
Right.
And they're not as sweet as American cookies. So you can eat 20 of them and feel guilt-free. Okay, so here we go. So now what we do is we taste these. You're the first guest who we've included. Do you want to split one or you want to
split it?
Yeah, let's split. Okay, so I'm going to break it. So first I'm going to help the audience out here. So I'm going to show it. Here we go. This is what we're looking at. A chocolate-covered something. Okay? It is a dark chocolate-covered caramel wafer biscuit. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, oh, that was a pretty clean break. Let's show the inside without getting my keyboard covered. Okay, there you go, folks. Look at that camera work. Rhonda, pretty impressive.
That's so impressive.
By the way, I wish all the audience could just transport and sit next to us as we sit here and drink all this and eat it. Okay, so you're going to take a bite, and you're going to chew it, and you're going to assess it, and then you're going to give me a rating of 0 to 10. I can give you a rating first, so you don't feel pressure. Okay.
Good.
So you're not like, oh, and so I don't go, what? What planet are you from that you would get it? Okay, here we go.
And then I never come back.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to taste it now. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh. Already. It's got a good crunch, and yet it's chewy at the same time, okay? It takes scientists quite a while to get that, okay? Chocolatey, but not too chocolatey. Delightful wafer inside.
Ooh, delightful.
Yeah.
Good word.
Pillowy soft kind of wafer inside. I'm gonna take another bite.
Okay.
Much better than I thought. Not that I had bad, it's just that sometimes chocolate covered stuff doesn't deliver. Oh, all right, hold on. Don't interrupt while I'm chewing, Rhonda. Okay, you should take a bite, and I will talk. Here we are, Rhonda, who's the head of props at Rose Raymond, taking her first bite of a Tunnocks. Is that how you would say it? Tunnocks or Tunnocks? Dark chocolate covered caramel with wafer biscuit. 8 bars. We are now down to 7 bars. This is a beautiful, beautiful wrapping. By the way, beautiful. Everything about this is aesthetically appealing, right? Okay. Now, Rhonda, before you give your rating, I will give a rating. So it's kind of tough because we're at the beginning. I've only eaten 4 on camera, okay? And I'm looking for what was the highest I gave. I think I gave a 7.6 for the different Jammy Dodger, right? For the alternate Jammy Dodger. I'm going to give this a 7.4.
Oh,
yeah.
High.
This is
very high.
Yeah. What would you say, Rhonda? Because I'll put a Rhonda thing. Because after all, we'll bring up the rating system, but it is I'll show it to you. It is the canister with a number on it.
Cool.
So we did not, but no canisters were harmed in that system. What would you say, Rhonda? But you have nothing to go. Did you enjoy it, first of all?
I did enjoy it, and I'm not a huge chocolate eater.
Okay.
And so, but I do like this because I love the word pillowy. It is pillowy, which I didn't expect, and yet crunchy at the same time.
Yes.
That's kind of like, very confusing in the mouth, but also very good.
Yes.
I like the confusion.
Oh.
I would give it a 7.
A 7.
I would give it a 7.
And what did I give it? A 7.4?
7.4, yeah.
Let me just
7.4?
make sure. Hold on.
It's tasty. It's the right amount of, for me, the right amount of chocolate.
It's just by the way, I wish I was getting payola from all these people. My address is
I might give it a 7.5.
7.5. Okay. Here, let me do this. I'm going to deliver this. Hold on. I'm going to throw this across the room. 3. Somebody looking across the room. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
The more I eat, the more I like it.
Okay. What does this remind me of in the world of American stuff?
It's like a cross between a Kit Kat and one of those wafer candies. They're not Kit Kat. It's kind of a wafer that in other countries they have that same wafer with different flavors.
Okay, let's see if. Oh wow, Susan Stompanato. They do have a caramel Kit Kat from another country. I had one and it was tremendous. Just FYI, when canisters are square like that, they are for storing crackers, not cookies. They fit 4 sleeves perfectly. Yes, Donnell, you are correct, and we are breaking the rules.
7.5.
So these
This might
7.5. You went up.
Yeah.
Oh, why is this so good?
It may go up to an 8 if I keep eating. It's good.
Hold on.
It's not overly sweet. And that I really like.
So, I think a Kit Kat is sweet, much more chocolatey.
Much sweeter, yeah. I'm not. What are those? They're not vanilla wafers because that's that cookie. These are that wafer. I don't know. I've seen them in Switzerland and different places.
Help us. Oh, a rate with an R. Help us out, audience. What else is similar to this?
Oh, I have tried the Dubai chocolate bar. It was really good.
Holy moly, this is good.
Pistachio cream. Oh, it was so good. I just had it in Morocco.
I'm a little taken aback at how taken aback I am by this. Let me show the inside again.
Excuse me.
Donnell, Karen Edwards, did you know that? Do you enjoy this? Gil, anybody out there? Sugar wafers is Donnell. Are you thinking of sugar wafers?
Yes, sugar wafers.
Sugar wafers.
Sugar wafers.
I've never heard of them.
And in different countries, they have different flavors, and some of them have chocolate. It's similar, but without that pillow that's inside.
Can I say?
Where'd you get these? These are delicious.
I'm not telling you where I got them. I don't want my supply to dry up. All right. All right, you know what? I'm not saying I'm influenced by you. I'm going to break the rules. I'm going to go 7.5 on this as well.
Yeah.
If I keep eating, I could get up to a 9.
If you keep eating, it definitely goes up. I mean, next thing you know, I'm going to be at an 8, 8.5.
So,
Kinder Bueno, yeah.
oh, wow. Okay.
It's really good. You could eat more than just one and not feel like you've had too many.
Yes. Boy, we could
I don't know
really
if
be.
that's good or bad.
Yeah. I bought Vortman's wafer cookies. Sounds like the description of them. Annabelle, who's held the canister, I'm going to look up Rootman's cookies. All right. Final questions before we say goodbye. This is my longest ever.
Ooh.
Okay. Let me see. So it was worth your while, and everything is still recording in case Brad Garrett is watching. Rhonda has a bit of Pamela Anderson vibe. Wow.
Thank you.
Yeah, strip away all the salacious parts from her. Is
that
that
glitter.
is way to go. Yeah, I think he's saying, is it a he or a she? I don't know what that is. That's a name. That's okay. I'm going to take that as a compliment.
I'll take it as a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah. Twix bars. Okay, Karen. Twix is a different animal. I think Twix is much more
sweeter. I also just had these triangle.
In Paris?
What was it? No, I think it was just in like Germany and Switzerland, and I bought these triangle-shaped wafer things that were really good. Oh, I still have a few at home. I would have brought them.
Yes, if you were into sharing, we would know what they taste like.
I didn't know we
now.
were sharing today.
All right, let me see. See, I don't want to end this, Rhonda. It's too much fun. Have you tried? Yes, going down, going down. Come back again,
delicious.
Rhonda.
Oh,
yes,
thank
I think
you.
that's apparent because we still have a few things to cover that I don't think. World Market sells a Kit Kat caramel bar here in the States. Yes,
They do. Yep.
that was a good show. Thank you for participating, Rhonda.
Well, thank you.
You made the show much better. Let me see. We'll block that
Not the first
person.
time that's been said.
Yeah,
No.
we'll block that person. Okay, sorry, Karen, I'm trying to get rid of the Twix, okay? Here we go. You have those. Hi, Mona. We have those. Hi, Susan, the great show. Thanks for participating, Rhonda. Yes. And now let me just check Instagram because I really ignored them this show. Addictive. Thank you so much can we see the label brand again? Okay, I don't know when that was said, but here we go. There you go, everybody. Sorry, I don't have the screen up, Rhonda.
It's delicious.
Yes, I'm hoping that. Here, let me go back to the screen so I can show everybody. Yes, there we go. Now I have an accurate thing. The caramel. By the way, that's a genuine reaction, right? We were both taken by surprise because
Yes.
there was another cookie, which I can't even remember the name. Not that I'm going to trash them. That's I have to fold it over, but that's kind of the wider thing. There was something that looked unbelievable. It was a round, covered with chocolate, marshmallow inside, and it was the dullest thing I've ever eaten. I couldn't believe it, how dull it was. I forget what it was, and okay, come back, Rhonda.
To save you a couple of those triangle.
Oh, yeah. Stay.
Whatever it is.
Yes, Karen, thanks for saying so. I said goodbye a half hour ago because I was bored to death. No, I am adding because I thought it was over. Have a good weekend, everybody. Okay, so Rhonda, we will see you again. We
Good,
covered
I hope so.
brajol, right? Chocolate cake, tons of stuff. We still have to cover a lot more recipes, talking about the recipe book. Hopefully we can reach out to that woman, and maybe we can make, how great would that video be?
Yeah.
Us making the cake with that woman on camera.
I'm glad you found her. That was really good work on your detective work on your part.
Yes, but now I need you to not be the guy who's tracking down someone and having, sort of, hi, I'm Rhonda, remember me?
Hi.
And then I step out from behind you and go, listen, you're making a
Crouch
cake
down.
for all of our fans who love it. Okay.
And we'd have to probably find the baker that did it because she was, I don't think.
The prep?
I think she was just the woman that I dealt with that worked there. We need the actual baker. That was a guy, I believe it was a man.
Folks, this, much like finding Amelia Earhart, is a challenge that we are going to step up to and deliver it. Tom, did you ever try my Trader Joe Golden Rounds crackers? Ellen, I have not. Never. No. Make a note of that. Okay.
Love Trader Joe stuff.
Okay. There we go. Before you go, I just want to give a shout out to one of my favorite props, the Dungaree Diary.
I made that.
You made that from Ray's journal?
I bought a pair of used jeans and made that. I believe two of them.
I noticed my jeans were missing a pocket, but I think that was a coincidence.
Might have been.
When was that from Ray's diary?
I don't remember if it was Ray's or Robert's diary.
Okay.
It might have been Robert's. They would know.
Karen, do you remember?
I remember it had the pocket, so I cut up the jeans to make it.
Okay, that's the last challenge to the audience. Do you remember what that episode was with the diary?
I liked making things so that it wasn't just something that you just saw at the store.
It was Ray's, Karen says.
Ray's. Okay. All right.
And if it was Ray's journal, where it said, I.E. hate my mom, I.E. had my mom, where the Sucrets drawer. Do you remember the Sucrets drawer?
Yes.
I do have some Sucrets. So, okay, let me just go back to this. Yes, Ray's diary. Thank you. Wow, on both. Episode where Marie finds Robert and Amy in the basement, and the pants that Amy is wearing, the pants Robert was wearing, or were they special pants for Amy? Okay, so that
wardrobe
is wardrobe. That's what I was going to say, everybody. We're going to get into wardrobe. I'm saying goodbye. We'll see Rhonda again. Thank you thank you everybody very much for all of your questions. Rhonda answered them beautifully, and we can go into much more detail for the podcast. You'll hear the whole thing. We'll be referring to stuff, and hopefully I'll throw up some pictures. But Rhonda, a million thanks. I've been waiting for 5 years for you to unblock my number so you would come in and chat with me. Is there anything else that you want to add before we say goodbye?
I just want to say I'm glad that everybody enjoys the show so much, because I think it just shows how much that we all loved the show, all the crew, how much we loved being there, how much we loved Phil and you and all the writers and the cast. It was really a family. It was a special place.
Yes, I agree. A once-in-a-lifetime experience.
For sure.
And the fact that we're still friends with so many people afterwards, right? And it's only fond memories.
Yes.
Yes, and I think Henry Wong said the show wasn't lame at all, which is Pig Latin for wasn't lame, which I agree. Okay, too many. Okay, Donnell, we're going to go off on all of your hearts. We really appreciate it. Okay, Rhonda, yes, Bob, the show that keeps on giving. So here, I will say this, Rhonda. The amount of happiness that it brings around, like for us, it was a job, you know, but then when you read about, I would watch it with my mother, and it was the only thing that made her laugh, and we would be in the hospital, and da-da-da, and then you're through generations where I was too young, I didn't enjoy it because it was about a family, and now I have a family, and now I'm Marie, like it's really through the stages of life, so many people that are affected by it, it's really, really endearing, to see.
Such a good show. And Phil really set the pace on that he treated everyone with respect and with kindness, and let everybody do their job. Also depended on us for that, but he really set that example on how we all needed to treat each other, and it really was a wonderful and a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, just be nice was Phil's motto. All right, Ray was a bit of a prick, but that's to be expected, yeah. I'm kidding, everybody. Raymond is one of the nicest people on the planet, and Ray and Phil together were the nicest team on the planet and let everybody excel, and trusted Rhonda to come up with a statue when they needed a statue, a cake when they needed a cake. All of those things allowed everybody to excel. And by the way, if you have a chance, I think Phil's speech is published. He gave a speech at the end of the show, and it was the most heartfelt speech, and he was just saying, you did it. You all did this show. I'm going to tear up thinking about it because it was of course, Ray cried like a baby when he gave his speech at the end of the show. But what Phil was saying is like, look, you guys can pat yourselves on the back. all of you really helped to make this really timeless, hit show. All right. Thank you, Rhonda. Your paycheck is coming. Don't worry. I keep getting poked under the table. Make cash up front. Yeah. All right. See you next time, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.